Hi everybody, this is Brazy. Welcome to a Speak Your Truth video blog. Well, we have another conspiracy theory that has become reality. And I'm not talking about Lance Armstrong. I'm not talking about Princess Di being killed. I'm not talking about the NSA or global warming. Oh, there's so many. I'm actually talking about a pretty technical one here that I find pretty interesting. It's called the 5 Presidents Theory, and I did a video on it a couple of months ago, and basically I've been following it for a little while, and now when I started to see it all popping out of the news, I thought, I've just got to do a quick video on this. Let me give you a wrap on it. Basically, the New World Order or the Dark Cabal or the Illuminati or whatever you want to call them, the idea was that they were going to be staging false flag events in order to push their fear agenda, or in order as a last ditch effort to show that they are in total control. And obviously their main objective was they wanted to do 5 false flag events, and they were going to get rid of course, the Second Amendment or gun control. So these 5 false flag events were going to be related. I know this sounds really spooky. They were going to be related to 5 US presidents, because you know how they love their symbolism and they love to let everybody know just how cool they are. Well, when we started doing it, only a couple of these have come true. Well, I've got to say tonight that all 5 of them now have come to fruition. So let's have a quick recap of it. So just have a look over my shoulder here. I'll put up all 5 presidents. You can always go back to the video that I did, so you know we're not just making this up now, because I hate that when I see the hindsight heroes. But we've got 5 presidents. So the first one was j.f.k, followed by Bush, then Reagan, then we had Clinton, and then of course there was one other, which was the unknown. But I think the unknown one has actually presented itself, and this little baby I think can be put to bed. So let's just check it out. We had, first of all, we had JFK was the first president, and that was relating to the Boston bombing. So the bomb went off in the JFK library, of course, that day, and it basically, the idea was it wanted to create fear and chaos and get us all fearful of terrorism again, or you know, these individual lunatics, all that kind of idea, and got people talking about gun control immediately. So the next one, of course, was the day after. So that occurred on the 16th of April. Then, of course, the day after that, on the 17th of April, we had, of course, the Waco, Texas chemical bombing or explosion, which wiped out an entire town down near Waco, which of course was the host of another false flag event a few years before. So then it was suggested that we were waiting to see when Reagan would occur, when Clinton would occur, and when this other one would occur. And of course, we suggested at the time that it would probably happen in Washington, maybe, for Reagan, because that's where the Reagan International Airport was. Now, I found it pretty interesting. Earlier this week, the tragic event occurred with the Navy mass shooting, and of course the magic number 13. We had a total of 13 people killed, and I think in hindsight, and we've got to say in hindsight, this has been pretty much the same MO in this particular incident. And the reality was, this occurred only a couple of minutes away from the Reagan International Airport, and it did in fact shut down the airport. Have a quick look at this document. So there you go. Flights were cancelled, and also flights were in fact delayed. Now, when I say the same MO, I think it was pretty obvious. We had multiple shooters actually seen by witnesses. It was actually done in a controlled gun-free zone, so it really highlighted the idea that we need to have gun control and so on and so forth. The shooter was once again on psychotropic medication or serotonin inhibitors. He lost his memory when he had done a shooting before, so it really opens it up to this idea of this MK Ultra potential. He had no expression or everybody who saw it said this person had no expression when they were actually doing the act. He was hearing voices in his head, which is pretty interesting. And of course he was under mental counselling at the time. So after all of that, and having a history of this, and playing video games, of course, for up to 18 hours a day. Of course, he's got a high-level security pass that allows him to get into this gun-free zone and walk around there with weapons, which I think it all starts to stink to high heaven. And the reality is, for the first time, the SWAT team that would be used at the White House, etc., was told to stand down for 45 minutes while this guy ran around like a lunatic. And what's even more interesting is that the Reagan International Airport today, or you might be seeing this on the Saturday, is actually going to be hosting one of the biggest hostage events as a drill. So there is actually a international drill going to be taking place with, get this, 13 agencies. 13 government agencies were going to be there, and a whole variety of local people from Washington were actually going to be at the Reagan International Airport getting ready for what they called a major drill that they do for terrorism, a crash, hostage situation, and so on and so forth. So you've got to say that Washington was in fact getting ready for this major drill event to occur, and of course a couple of days before this event goes down. So I mean, if you can't tell me this isn't related to Reagan, and this whole shooting became a little bit bizarre. But what's even more bizarre is the fact that the very next day we have another shooting, which relates directly to Clinton, which is what I call number 4, which is the basketball shooting. Now, the basketball shooting, of course, happened in Chicago. All right, so that happens exactly the next day, very similar to the Waco situation, where we saw the Waco situation. That explosion happened exactly the day after the Boston bombing. So we saw the Magic 13 occur. 13 people got shot, including another child shot straight in the head. So this was, of course, while the Clintons, and this is how it relates, of course, to our president number 4, the Clintons were in town, and Hillary Clinton was in fact speaking at the Chicago House on the very same day, which I find, pretty much extraordinary. And I think you can see the link there, that we're starting to see that these 5 president theory is starting to come to fruition. And let's not forget, how does this all relate to Bill Clinton? Well, Bill Clinton in 2009 spoke at exactly the same venue for exactly the same, it's called Chicago House, and in 2009 Bill Clinton was actually the head of that particular charity. So that's how I think it all relates to our former First Lady Hillary Clinton. And let's not forget, Hillary Clinton is in fact from Chicago. She's a Chicagoite, as you might say. So I think that's how it relates to her. And then I thought to myself, well, that's 4. Now, how do we wrap up here and go through to number 5? Well, right now, as we speak, breaking news is in a Kenyan Nairobi mall. We have 50 plus, they're saying 60 now, dead people from a mass shooting in a mall, an Israeli mall, mind you. And we have hostages, and we have 200 wounded. We also have involved, and this seems to be the piece de resistance, right? We've got Al-Qaeda involved. They're already come out and said they'll take responsibility. Mind you, it's Somali Al-Qaeda, which makes it even more interesting, because that was what, the 6th country or something that the US was interested in taking over. So we've got it as a mass shooting, we've got it as terrorism, we've got a hostage situation, and of course we've got a Israeli-owned mall. So, I mean, it's pretty much got everything. And the best part of it is, it's actually Obama, that's right, President Obama is Kenyan. Well, he was pretty much born there, wasn't he? So I would say the 5th president, I would go out on a limb here and say he's the man. He's the 5th person. And let's face it, who came out only literally a few hours ago and started saying Obama has pushed, and have a look at this article. That's right, so Obama is pushing for the stalled gun control legislation. So he's had a big week. I mean, let's face it, Obama lives in Washington. Obama, where of course we had the terrible 13 people get shot. Then of course we had his hometown is in Chicago, where we saw another 13 people get shot the very next day. And of course, where was he born? Well, he was born in Nairobi, or he was born in Kenya, or, okay, if we're not going to be conspiracy theorists, let's just say he's Kenyan. At least that he'll admit to. So I think that's what you've got there. You've got literally your five theories have become, five president theories have become a reality. And to wrap them up real quickly for you, there they all are, and that's a very, very frightening situation. You've got j.f.k. with the Boston bombing. You've got the Texas explosion with the Bushes. You've got the Navy shooting with relating to the Reagan International Airport, mind you, where there's a drill only gone on yesterday. Then you've got Clinton, of course, relating to the Chicago shooting. While the shooting's going on, they're there doing their little speech and talking about their presidency run for 2016. And then number 5, we're currently got a hostage situation that involves absolutely everybody.